What would make a person want to kill an entire nation of people? How can somebody be so angry that they want to annihilate, eliminate, and destroy an entire class of people? Who would want to do such a thing? In Esther 3 and 1 through 2, we're going to take a look at Haman, the Agagite, who has a long history of hatred for the Jews. And in Esther 3 and 1 through 2, we see that same Haman is promoted by the king. King Ahasuerus promotes Haman to basically becoming the highest chief officer, somewhat like a prime minister. He elevates him above all the other princes, and Haman becomes the highest official under the king. And the king orders that all of his servants are to pay homage to Haman and are to bow and show him much respect. Now, this is all happening at the king's gate, where official king business is being handled, authority and judgment is ruled. So now, what do we see? We see that Haman is given power, honor, and public worship. So we're getting ready to learn here where God actually will allow your enemy to elevate. He will allow your enemy to rise before he brings him down. And quite often we see the wicked rising, we see they're prospering, they seem to be getting ahead. But when God allows this, he will also bring him down so that his justice and deliverance are seen more clearly. But we have to ask ourselves, what kind of heart needs someone to bow down to them and then become enraged enough to destroy a whole people when one man refuses? Everyone else obeys the king's command except Mordecai. Mordecai is Esther's cousin. Mordecai does not bow or pay homage. But all of the other servants are very perplexed by this because they can't understand why is it that they are following the king's rules and the king's authority, but Mordecai is not. So the other servants, they continue to press Mordecai and ask him, why do you disobey the king's command? Esther 3 and 2. And so here the other servants, they're confused, and this shows Mordecai's refusal is public and now very noticeable. And in Esther 3 and 4, we will see where he finally tells him he is a Jew. So what do the servants do? They go and they report Mordecai's explanation to Haman to see if it's valid enough for him to disobey. And in Esther 3 and 5, we see that originally Haman hadn't really noticed. It was not until the servants brought it to his attention and he finally noticed that Mordecai was not bowing down to him, and he became filled with rage. And because of Haman's wounded ego and pride, he decides that killing Mordecai alone is just not enough. So once he learns that Mordecai is a Jew, he seeks to destroy all of the Jews in the entire kingdom. And what does this teach us? This teaches us that Haman's hatred is not logical. It's rooted in ego, exaggerated, and rooted in ancient hostility. But if we think about it, how severe was Mordecai's decision not to bow? Well, he disobeyed a direct royal command. And in Persia, disobeying the king was not a small thing. It was treason, and that is punishable by death. Mordecai's disobedience became a public challenge to royal authority, and his refusal triggered Haman's rage. So we've ultimately learned that number one, the danger of elevating the wrong person. And number two, your conviction will always cost something. Mordecai's refusal was life-threatening, and obedience to God is rarely convenient. Number three, pride turns offense into destruction, and pride isn't just unattractive, it is destructive. Unhealed ego becomes a threat to everyone around it. And emotional immaturity in leadership is dangerous. Number four, your identity in Christ will be tested, and pressure will reveal who you really are. And number five, God allows the enemy to rise before he brings him down. Stay tuned for what happens next. Like, follow, and subscribe as we enter part 7, the making of a queen, because you are the purposeful woman.